If I could go back in time and tell myself something about pumping and storing my milk and building a freezer stash, it would be this. Now, let me begin by saying that when I started my breastfeeding journey, I had this vision in my head of building a freezer stash so that when I finished breastfeeding, I could then have some extra milk to give my son as we weaned onto foods and just to have in case he got sick. Like, I had this whole plan in my head. What I did not foresee is that my milk is high in lipase, which means that when it's frozen, it then does not taste the same. And I know this because I myself have tried it, which I know some people might think is gross, but it's something that I just do every time I give him a bottle now, which we do once a day. I'll try it the tiniest sip just to make sure it's a good temperature. And I can absolutely taste the difference between my fresh milk that's just been sitting in the fridge versus my milk that has been frozen and then reheated. And I was talking to another mom who was just like, don't heat it up, just, defrost it and give it to him. I tried that and it still tastes horrible. If I had known this sooner, I would not have put so much time into trying to pump extra on top of my breastfeeding to build my stash, because while I didn't do a lot of that, there was definitely a good stretch of like maybe 2 months where I was trying to save up like a few ounces every week. I'm a just enougher, so I was never going to be building a huge, massive freezer stash of milk, but I would say I was putting down maybe like 4 to 5 ounces a week on top of what I was giving my son, which I was pretty proud of. I now have to throw that milk away because it is unusable. I mean, I can use it in like a milk bath or something like that. Like, I think the actual milk itself is fine. It just tastes horrible. So if I could have my time again, I would go back and recommend just tasting my milk after it's been frozen, just to confirm that it was actually drinkable and that it didn't taste terrible, because I would be so upset right now if I had built up like hundreds of ounces worth of breast milk in my freezer, only to find out later down the line that it was unusable because of the taste. So if that's you and you're at the start of this journey, or you're in the middle of the journey and you haven't tried your milk after it's been defrosted, definitely give that a go. Interestingly, my son used to drink my defrosted milk. He now will not. And I think that's because he's a little bit older and maybe his taste buds have matured slightly and he can now taste how horrible it tastes after it's been defrosted. But yeah, word to the wise if you are also on this like pumping, breastfeeding, freezer stash journey.